Okay, so you're going to start off lying on your back on your mat with your knees bent. And if you know you need a little cushion under your head, then just grab that and pop it under your head. I'm going to put a little one under mine today. I'm going to steal the dog's one. So sometimes when we lie on our back and we bend our knees and we're ready to go, we can maybe feel like we're lying downhill and our head is feeling a little bit low. Or if you've had a headache or a migraine, you might feel like you need your head to be boosted. Or if you feel tightness across your chest, that's then going to restrict your breathing. So we want to make sure we get into a start position where breathing is easy. So close your eyes and you're going to lay one hand below your belly button and one hand below your collarbone. So you've got one hand on your chest, one hand on your lower abdomen, and we're going to bring our awareness to our breath. And it's going to be a quiet breath. So if we were all in the room together, I'd want it to be stealth-like breathing. So you're not efforting your breath, you're not huffing, puffing, blowing. You're just very quietly, very softly breathing. And that breath might rise on the inhale into your hands and fall away from your hands on the exhale. And again, emphasizing the gentleness of the breath. And then can we encourage with that gentle breath and evenness between the top and the bottom hand. Sometimes we have more motion up into the chest and sometimes more below the belly button. Can you find evenness between the two today? And then place both hands on your pelvis, so the heel of your hands on your hip bones and your fingertips point towards your pubic bone. And just notice here, does your pubic bone feel higher, lower, or level with the heels of your hands where your hip bones are? So just noticing, like a little measure of where you are at this point at the beginning. And then we're going to imagine that we have a marble between the pubic bone and our belly button, and we're going to gently roll the marble towards our belly button and then roll it forwards towards your pubic bone. So we're going into our pelvic clock movement, which is a very light and gentle mobilization of your spine and your pelvis and hip sockets. So you're rolling the marble towards your belly button and then towards your pubic bone. And you keep repeating that gentle rocking motion. And as you're doing the movement forwards towards your pubic bone, can you think of your pubic bone actually reaching and stretching away from your belly button? So we're also finding a little bit of release through the front of the hip and the lower abdomen. We do hold a lot of tension, a lot of our stress down in the hips and the pelvis. And our pelvic clocks are a great way to start releasing that. So let's bring our marble now to balance evenly between the pubic bone and the belly button. And notice if that feels more available now than it did at the beginning. Is there a little bit more ease there? And then we're going to go from side to side with the marble. So your marble is going to rock from one hip bone to the other, one hip bone to the other. Going straight across your pelvis. And again, can you have that sense here that you're stretching one hip bone away from the other as you rock? Okay, great. Balance your marble evenly between your hip bones. Then we're ready to circle all the way around the clock. So let's go towards your pubic bone first. So you're going forwards towards your pubic bone, around to the right hip bone, up towards your belly button, and then over towards your left hip bone and around the bottom towards your tailbone. And you keep rolling around in that circle. Think about this as oiling your joints. So as you're going around, you're oiling your spine, you're oiling your hip socket. Even where your sacroiliac joints are, we're gently oiling. So let's reverse the circle now. You go around to the left hip bone, around your belly button. And as you're circling, can you bring some awareness to your jaw now? Can you let your jaw just hang a little bit off your ears? And maybe that will allow your head to move a little bit in response to your pelvis moving. Last one or two of those circles. And then bring it to balance in the middle. That's it. Noticing how that feels as you come to the middle point. You feel a little bit more ease. Your pubic bone and hip bones feel more level or easier in that position now. So we're going to take your cushion out from underneath your head because we're going to go into some bridging, and then edge your heels an inch closer towards your bottom. Bring your arms down by your side and palms face the floor. So now you're standing on your feet, your arms, your head, and your shoulders. And just give a little bit of weight down into the floor, into your feet, into your arms, head, and shoulders until you feel the invitation for your pelvis to roll gently through its block and up into a bridge. And then slowly coming back down. Notice what your body's telling you as you do your first bridge. My body's telling me that long trip on the flight back from New York. And I have not done enough Pilates since I got back. My hips feel very tight. You're going to keep repeating your bridge, listening to what your body's telling you, reaching into the nooks and crannies of it that you feel you need in your movement, in your body today. Remembering that you're standing on your arms, your feet. That's it. And as you're bridging up, imagine there's a ball between your knees and it's kind of magnetic ball. So your inner seams are reaching towards each other and forwards. So reaching them forward, that's it, excellent. We're going to make this your last bridge. And when you come down from that bridge, you can edge your feet an inch further forwards again, and you're going to interlace your hands behind your head. So you clasp your fingers, you bring them behind the back of your head, and you hold the back of your head there. Make sure it's your skull that you're grasping and it's not your neck. So it should be feeling solid under your hand and not soft. Now you're going to reach your elbows up towards the ceiling, like your forearms are hugging your head. And then reach your elbows out towards the side of the room, towards the mat if you can, and then reach them up and around your head again. We're going to do a gentle breath pattern with this now. So you're going to breathe out as your elbows come up and let your gaze look down your cheek. And then breathe in as your elbows go down and look back towards your forehead. So breathe out, elbows up. Breathe in, elbows down. Breathe out, look down. Breathe in and back. Keep going. So your gaze comes down your cheekbones as your elbows come up and up towards your forehead. That's it. As your elbows go back. And what we're doing here is mobilizing your shoulders, so where your arm comes into your shoulder, and also where your shoulder blade can get a little bit stuck on your ribs. And we're also mobilizing your eyeballs in your eye socket. And that's helping to release some of the tension at the back of your neck, believe it or not. We're doing lots of things. Make this your last repetition. And then you can unhook your arms, your hands, and bring your arms down by your side. Notice how it feels to be there. Brilliant. Okay, let's hug your knees in towards your chest now. So you hug your both knees in towards you, and we're just holding our knees hugged in this position. You might want to bring your cushion back under your head. I felt like I needed mine there too, so bring your cushion in if you need it. And I want you to bring your awareness to the base of your spine, so where your pelvic floor is. And we're just going to be breathing into the base of your spine, into your pelvic floor. And when we're in this position, it's helping to lengthen, release, and stretch it. And release there. So now you're going to have your right hand cupping your right knee left on your left knee, and make sure it's your kneecap, not round your shin. That's it. Now we're going to circle our thigh bones in the socket. So we're stirring in the hip sockets, whatever you want to imagine stirring, something gooey and smooth. That's it. Maybe it's the cream or the melting chocolate or syrup. We've had the request for pancakes in our house, so there'll be maple syrup out. And change direction. So as you're circling now, I'd like you to think of your spine, bring awareness to your spine. So even although we're stirring your thighs in the hip socket, bring your awareness to your spine. Because what I'd like you to do is keep your spine lengthening as you're circling. So often what happens is we circle and we round and roll our lower back like this. I'd like your lower back to stay quiet on the mat, so that as we're circling, we really are getting the motion in our hip socket and we're getting it into our pelvic floor. That's it. Last circle, and then we're going to windmill. So we're going to start off by going forwards and back. So 1 leg goes forward, one leg comes towards you, and then you do a little circle. So one goes forward and it circles out to the side and up, the other one goes out to the side and down. It's a kind of sequencing that, even although you might not have done this particular movement before, we kind of have the coordination. I know I'm saying that, and some of you are going, you're saying that, but I don't feel like I have it. As long as you're moving your legs around, it's fine. Reverse whatever you're doing. That's it. So you're alternating from one to the other in a kind of windmilling action. And quieting down your lower back again. So now you've got the movement. Can you quieten down your lower back? You've got it. Well done. Rest there. Keep your legs lifted, but bring your arms by your side. Lift your shins up a little bit so they're horizontal to the ceiling or the floor, whatever. Okay, legs together, and we're going to open, bent knee openings, and close, both knees in. Opening, that's it, and closing. Can your thigh bones lead the opening and your feet follow? So you're not letting that sit, much better. So you're not letting your feet lead the way, you're letting your thigh bones, that's excellent, lead the way. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Those of you that are coordinating today, brilliant. 2 more just like that. Then you're going to open one leg and keep the other leg sitting in the socket, and then close, and then open the other leg. So you're going to alternate legs. Heavy in the socket with the leg that's staying quiet. That's it. And again, lead with your thigh rather than your foot. That's it. Bring your legs all the way to meet one another. That's it. Twice more. And then you can take one foot down, then the other to the mat. Well done. Great job. So we're going to yawn that out now. So you're going to slide your right foot away and then slide it back in. Same thing, same leg. Right foot away and slide it back in. So your heel sliding away and heel sliding back in. Add your same arm, reaching overhead and reaching back down. So you're going to breathe in as you reach away, like a half of a yawn, just half of your body. That's it. Breathing in, yawning open through the front of your pelvis. And the sacrum is your kind of anchor point. So your sacrum is that heavy central point, and it sinks down a little bit more as you take your arm and leg away. That's it. Take your arm and leg away and stay there for a moment. So you've got your arm over your head, your leg stretched. Now your left leg is the one that's still bent. Yes, we're all on that same side. Great. Now you're going to roll yourself like your pelvic clock over to the right leg and then come back again. You're going to roll yourself to the right and then back again. Roll yourself and back again. When you next roll back, bring your arm back. When you roll, take your arm over. Roll back, bring it back. And then you can also add a little bit of a roll with your head. So for some of us, it feels really natural to roll your head the direction that you're going. For some of us, it'll feel more natural to roll it the opposite way. You can do what feels natural to you. Maybe you're lying there going, well, neither of them feel very natural. So try both and pick one that you like best out of the two. breather. Just keep your head still. Think about the yawning, what it feels like to yawn. So we could even yawn as we do it to feel what that experience of yawning is like. So we'll make this our last one. You've done amazing. And then rest there. Bending in, and just notice how weird it feels to have done all of that work kind of more intentionally through one side of your body. My right arm now feels really long. So just notice, what is it that feels different for you? Maybe your waist feels longer, maybe your pelvis feels a bit out of alignment, whatever it is for you. So let's left heel slide now. Like I've grown because that foot fell off the end of the mat there. So left heel slide and slide back in. Sliding along your mat. It's almost as if you've got something stuck on your heel and you're trying to push it away and pull back in. Push it away and pull it back in. That's it, sliding. Then we'll go ahead and add the arm. So as you're sliding away, reach your arm overhead and slide back in together. So they move away together. So when we take our arm overhead, our ribs need to fan open in the side of our body. So we've got ribs underneath our armpit. So what would be great is if when you take your arm over your head, your armpit ribs could just open a wee bit, yawn them open. And even if your thinking brain says, I don't really know what that means, your body will figure that out for you. So if you just go, oh, I have armpit ribs, your armpit ribs will start to awaken. So let's yawn open and stay there. So your leg and your arm are staying there, and we're going to do that little half pelvic clock again. So you're tipping over to the left, but your right knee continues to reach forwards. So it's called pelvic yawning. Pelvic yawning. And then we can add in the arm coming down as your pelvis returns, arm reaching over as you roll over. And then if you're called to roll your head, don't worry too much if your right shoulder comes up or not. It's all fine. Just have the experience of yawning. It's sort of mandiculation, which is what cats and dogs do. You know how they just spontaneously stretch? They're not consciously doing it as we are, but it's a similar quality in the movement, pandiculation. That's a good word for a few days before Christmas, isn't it? Let's just do one more big yawn. And then return. Bending both your knees in again so that you can compare sides, notice how it all feels before we go on to some side lying. Great job. Okay, so you're going to lie on your side. You're probably not going to need your cushion right now because you're going to take your hands clasped behind your head, just in the way that we did when you were laying on your back. You've got your knees bent, just like we were when you were on your back. And now we're going to do thoracic rotation. Leave your underneath arm on the mat and roll across the back of your shoulders, just to wherever there is available right now. And roll back. And again, let the weight of your head go. So it really doesn't matter if your legs move a little bit. Be heavy in your legs, be relaxed in your legs. There's really no pressure here. What's important is that you get some rotation through your entire spine. Sometimes by fixating your legs and thinking they must be still, we end up just hinging in the bit of our spine that already has movement available. And it's between our shoulders that we need to encourage the most rotation. It's nice if you take your gaze with you, because then you might find there's a little bit more range. Like, can you look at the floor behind you in the space? Okay, this will be our last one. I know they feel very good. You can practice these in between times. Take your top hand now, put it on your top hip. So we're just checking general rough alignment here. Flex your feet so it helps us to anchor into the bottom leg for stability. And then you're going to float the top leg up and then float it back down. So you're just standing into the bottom leg, allowing the top leg to lift and then lower. That's it. And you're just continuing to do that movement. Your knees are bent. You're just doing that little lift and lower. That's it. Great. Then you're going to lift and stay lifted. We're going to do a can-can now. So where your knee is, it stays. You're just going to kick and then bend. Kick and then bend. That's it. Kick with your heel, bend with a point. Kick with your heel, bend with a point. That's it. So kick, point, kick, point. Your thigh bone stays completely still in space. That's it. Twice more. Last one. And then kick and hold it straight. Now you're going to keep your legs straight as you do a full straight leg can-can, forwards and back, forwards and back. You can flex forward, point back, flex forward, point back. And your bottom leg, it's your anchor point. It's still heavy. That's it. Two more. One more. Hey, brilliant. And rest there. Let's go on to the other side. I'm going to turn to face you, but I can still see you if you just roll over. So it's fine. So your knees are bent. Clasp your hands behind your head. And we're going into, so it's the thoracic rotations before the leg bit. So we support our head. Clasp your fingers around the back of your head. And just like we said when you were lying on your back, it's important that it's your head, your skull, not your neck that you're clasping. Roll your head back. Let it be heavy. Let it go. Breathe just as it serves you here. It doesn't have to be a certain way. Just like your legs can be heavy, but they don't have to be fixed. So they don't want to be like concrete. You want to think a bit more like a tree, and how even the trunk of the tree and the roots of a tree will move and adjust to the wind, to the weather. And remember, we also said take your gaze to look where you're going. See if you can allow that to take you a bit further. All right, well done. So the knees stay bent, flex your feet. We're going to go into our leg raise. So the first thing is just floating the top leg up and down. That's it. Keep your feet flexed, so that helps you stand on the bottom leg to release it. You've got it exactly. So you're lifting and lowering. Fantastic. Your top hand can be on your hip just as a little guide, because sometimes if we've got any restriction through the pelvis, maybe through where your hamstrings attach to your sit bones in your bottom, or you've got any injury in your pelvic floor, it can cause us to move in our lower back and do that hip hitching thing. And actually, we really want to find this movement, the flexibility of this movement from our hip socket. So lift your leg and keep it lifted for the can-can kick. So your thigh bone stays where it is and you kick. That's it. Flex your foot to kick, point to bend, if you can coordinate that. Don't worry about it. There's no Christmas Pilates police. Just do what feels, that's it. Yeah. Thigh stays pretty much in that same spot. You're just moving at your knee. That's it. And you can think about your heel scooping around towards your bottom, scooping around. As if there was something behind your knee. Maybe it's a present behind your knee, the one you're hoping Santa will bring you if he got the hint. And then straighten your leg, keep it straight, and we're going to swoop your leg. So we're doing the big can-can. And you can flex forward, point back. But again, don't worry too much about coordination. Just keep moving. Anchor your bottom leg. That's it. 2 more. Last one. And rest there. Great job. Lie on your front now. So come onto your tummy, rest your head in your hands. Just notice for a moment how your body's feeling at this point. What you've achieved, what changed. Let your shoulders really spread and relax. So how close can your chest get to the floor? Brilliant. Now we're going to do some baby looks from here. So your arms are going to come a little bit apart and wider. And then as you breathe out, come look over your shoulder to the right. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, come look over your shoulder to the left. And then we're going to keep going from one direction to the other. Back to the movement we did at the beginning where we were doing the butterfly arms, elbows up and down, getting our shoulder blades to move on our ribs, because that really helps to influence and encourage movement in our spine. So here we are. That's it, baby looking. All right. Getting maybe a little bit higher. Your bottom ribs will stay on the floor, but your upper ribs and your chest can come off. And you can push a wee bit with your hands and your forearms. Your elbows may come up or they may stay down. And then I'd like you to look over your left shoulder, pause there. And I'd like your right foot to come up and scoop round, bending your knee towards you. And then as you come through the middle, bring it down. Same on the other side. So now your left foot scooping around and reaching towards your head. It's a bit like our can-can, but the other way around. So your knee pretty much stays where it is and you're scooping around. That's it. So we're kind of, even although your foot is still coming kind of through a straight line, I want you to imagine the diagonal. So when I was little, my party trick was to touch my head with my feet. So can you imagine that as you're coming around, you're going to touch your head? Not a chance today, but you know, we can imagine. One more. Such a lovely opening for the front of your body, through your hips, extending your spine out of that kind of chair shape. And then come on to all fours. I keep finding bits of tinsel. It seems to go everywhere, tinsel. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hip sockets. We're going to do a little mini cat here. So the mini cat happens just from your lower part of your spine. So you're going to keep your head and shoulders exactly where they are, and you're going to round like our pelvic clock we started with today through your lower part of your spine. So just curling your tail. So it's the marble rolling from your pubic bone to your belly button. We've just flipped it the other way around. Twice more. Just that bit. Once more. And release. Okay, so now what we're going to do is some opposite arm and leg slide. So you're sliding opposite arm and leg away from each other. And when your hands comes forwards, imagine you're going to shake someone's hand. You're turning your hand. You're turning your hand. Your hand can come off the floor, but your foot's going to stay on. And you're going to lead with your second toe along the floor. So not your big toe, but your second toe. That's going to really help with the alignment and keeping stability through your pelvis. 2 more like this. If you have any difficulty weight bearing, you can do it on your forearms and just do the legs. Same with the next bit. Okay, we're good. All right. So now what we're going to do is same arm as leg and star. I mean, it would be rude not to. We're going to keep repeating on the same side, our star. We're doing very similar to what we did when we were lying on our back. We're just repeating the same side right now. So each time you can yawn, open a little bit more. Your foot can come off the floor or stay on the floor. Depends on the space you have available and how you feel today. All right, let's switch sides. Same thing, other side. Really bring your memory back to how it felt to do the pelvic yawning on your back, that real focus that we could have because we were on the floor to open up the front of your hips. So it's not flailing arms, it's pelvis yawning here. Pelvis yawning. 2 more on that side. And we're coming back to that central point. You're going to tuck your toes underneath now. We've got the natural curves of our spine, which means that your thigh bones are in your socket. You've got your little lumbar curve, shoulders a little bit rounded, but we're not in a cat now. We're really holding our natural curves. So your toes are tucked under, you're standing into your hands and your toes and allowing your knees to levitate just off the mat and then release back down. So it's like the magic that we have at Christmas. We are the reindeers just getting ready to take off. So you are just letting your knees hover. Those of you that are really familiar with this and you do it all the time, you could just lift and hold. Those of you that are feeling like you want a bit more oomph, you can do jackrabbit, where you push through your big toe and second toe to create that propulsion forwards. So we've got up and down, we've got holding, or we've got jackrabbit. Keep going, and whatever you're doing, you're breathing, you're pausing when you need to, you're connecting to your big toe and second toe. That's it. Couple more, whatever you're doing. and then have a rest. Come sit, face this way, cross your legs. If cross leg isn't available to you, you can put your legs out in front, or if your sofa's just there, sit on the sofa. If you need to sit on a cushion, you know, sometimes you just need a wee boost, then a cushion will be fine. All right. Clasp your hands behind your head again. Great. If when you put your hands here, it makes you go all kind of skew with and tense and uncomfortable, you're going to bring the backs of your hands together and point your fingertips into your chest. So you can back of your hands together. So you've got two choices there. We're doing spine twist. That's it. Wrists together as well, Helen. Yes. And then you're going to spine twist around. The position of the hands, wherever they are, directly correlates with where you're getting the twist mostly in your spine. So the higher they are, the higher the twist. And it needs to be quite a fixed frame to help that. Lift your gaze. That's it. So looking across the horizon, imagine a more sunny horizon. That's it. Elbows forward a bit, Sophie. That's it. So your elbows, when they're on the back of your head, they need to come forward slightly to follow the curve of your scapula, so the curve of your shoulder blades. That's it. Just do two more. We're wringing out. And then you can release your hands from wherever they are. We're going to do mermaid Cleopatra style. So sweep your legs to one side, and whatever side, in fact, let's all have our legs swept to the left. So I can say left, right, and it be convenient. It's always easier on the screen when we're all the same. That's it. So your legs are to the left, so that means your left hand is on your left shin and your right arm is in the air, reaching over in the direction of your leg. So your legs are to the left, your arm is over. That's it. So it feels like it's the wrong way, but it's the right way for now. We hold this and we breathe. We're almost there. You've done amazing. Welcome back. We've just started this side, so just crack on because you've not missed anything. We're just breathing. That's it. Spot on. Except have your legs to the left. That's it. That's it. You're there. Perfect. So your right hand is going to come onto your shin as well. So now you've rotated. Your underneath leg becomes a little bit more important now because I want you to push down into it so you can curve and lean back a wee bit. It's almost like you're hanging off your left leg. That's it. Brilliant. So you can feel we're really making sure we've wrung everything out. And then let that all go. Bring your arms out to the side. Your right hand's going to meet the floor and you're going to do more of what you think of a mermaid. And then counter stretch. That's it. Hand to the floor. Mermaid. That's it. Now, option available if you want it is to lift into side bend. So we have the counter stretch. We can just mermaid or we can keep going. And be free with what you're doing. I know we like to know, are we doing it right? Are you doing it right for you right now is what's really important. That's it. Last one, whatever variation of the theme you're doing. That's it. And then we'll switch to the other side. So legs are to the right. Sometimes I think we hold ourselves back, or not hold ourselves back, but we can make things really difficult for ourselves by, trying. When we're efforting or wondering about getting it right, we're restricting our movement. So let's go to the other side. If you need to sit on a cushion or sit on the sofa, you can do that. So we're reaching the left arm over to the right hand holding your shin. You got it. And yes, often one side feels different to the other. And we can really breathe into all of our ribs here. And then rotate around, grabbing onto your shin with your left hand as well now. Remember, the bottom leg becomes more important, so we stand on it. We sort of lean, sit back, so that we're more like our cat stretch, more curved through the spine. And then we can let that go. Bring your arms to the side, ready for our more traditional mermaid. And then counter stretch. And each time, think about easing out what you need in your body, adding the side lift if it feels fun to do today. Don't forget the counter stretch in between. Last one. Well done. So, because it's Christmas, we have to do rolling like a bauble to finish. If rolling is not for you, you're going to do the half roll back with your hands glued to the back of your thighs. If you're ready to rock and roll like a bauble, you come right to the front of your mat because you need space behind you. You hug onto your shins, lift your feet up if you can, and then you're going to start sending your bum to the ceiling. And then momentum will return you. So you have to go sit bones to the ceiling, and that will take you back. And then momentum will bring you up again. And a little bit of pelvic floor and abdominal muscles too. That's it. And just have fun with it. If you know the teaser variation or the jackknife variation, you can go for it. Couple more, just for fun. And then come to sitting. Very well done, everybody. So I would like you to come and